Everybody, Questwise here, and we are back with some more Masters of the Universe, the board game unboxing. Today I wanted to talk about the Evil Horde expansion. This is a miniature expansion, so there's no sort of rules in this. It is just extra miniatures involving the Horde. So we got Hordak and soldiers of his Horde. Mantisaur, a couple other cool characters in here as well too. So you're not going to find any scenarios in this expansion, but you are going to find some really cool extra miniatures you can use in your games of the Masters of the Universe board game, Clash for Eternia. They are interchangeable with all of those. You can use these instead of the Skeletor stuff or in conjunction with it as well. I did already open this, so sorry. But I wanted to see what was in here, so I did punch out the card stock, but I did want to show you what all was involved. So let's slide the top off of here. So this is, oh man, it got kind of flipped around a little bit. So here we have your character cards. Like I said, you have Hordak and you have Catra. Let me bring this a little closer to the screen. Catra, you have Mantisaur, we've got Grizzlor, we've got Leech. I love Leech, and it probably is because it was one of the figures that I had as a child, and so I love the fact that he had suction cups on his mouth, a little button on the back of his head, and you can actually suction cup him to a window and such. But I love Leech, and it's a cool mini as well too. We've got Modulok, and we have Shadow Weaver, and then we have the mounted version of Hordak, and he is mounted on Mantisaur. So I'll show you that as well too. And then these are all the extra AI cards slash character cards slash other stuff. You do also get some minions in this box. So you're going to get some Horde Troopers. And let's see. Horde Troopers, you're also going to get some Elite Minions and the Horde Wraiths. And then you get a new type of terrain card called the Shadow Cage. And it's part of the power of the, oh gosh, what's her name? The Shadow Weaver. She has these abilities to put these shadow cages out over top of characters, and they either have to destroy them or spend power to get out of them. So a cool new terrain feature there as well. We've got, of course, our activation cards for each of the characters. We've got our power cards like Lethal Parasite who's this for? That's for Leech. So those are your skill cards. You've got a bunch of tokens, your activation tokens. These are the Shadow Cage tokens. Very cool. Double-sided as always. And then on to the miniatures themselves. So first we'll pull out Hordak because he's really cool. So there's Hordak with his staff, which is a little bit bent, which I can fix with some hot water. If you don't know, if you're new to sort of miniatures, plastic miniatures, especially pre-built ones, that come a little bent, the key to this is just to heat up some hot water and then have a bowl of cold water with ice in it. And what you're going to do is you're going to dip this in the hot water. You're going to bend this back so it's straight, and then dip it in the cold water and hold it there for a second. And once the cold water takes effect, it will leave it straight in that position. But Hordak's very cool. He's got the little gargoyle dragon thing on his arm there. Sorry. Focus. There we go. His cool cloak and cape there. But again, very detailed minis. Simon has not been very disappointing when it comes to the minis. We have Catra. To be honest with you, do not remember this character, but there are a few I missed. She's basically a human with a cat face, or like a cat mask on. Little shield and sword there. Very cool mini. Can't wait to paint that one up. We've got Grizzlor. Love Grizzlor. He's just such a cool Kind of a weird beast. He's got that very iconic Horde crossbow on his arm. Most of these characters, when you bought the action figures, came with this crossbow feature, which was really cheesy back in the day, but we thought it was really cool. So it had a little plastic piece you would click in, and then you'd push a little button and it would click out about 1/8 of an inch. But you know, back in the 80s, we thought that was the coolest stuff ever. So Grizzlor, this is Shadow Weaver. Cool kind of wraith type figure. Should be pretty easy to paint, pretty fun, but pretty easy. We've got Mantisaur, right? It's got this little eye stalks that stick out. Again, the crossbow. It's got 4 legs. Very cool. He has a cool ability. One of his skill cards is Overwatch because, you know, right? Eyeballs and stuff. It allows him to just shoot whenever somebody moves, you know, within a certain distance of him. We've got Modulok. This was one of those characters I never owned in the 80s, but was a cool idea. It was 2 separate figures that hooked together. And, you know, Modulok, modular, lock together type figure. But very cool. 2 heads, 3 legs. Interesting. And then, of course, Leech. I loved Leech. It was just such a cool idea, right? In the 80s, to have a figure that could suction cup to a window. So he's got suction cups on his hands, which never worked on the action figure. But the mouth and the back of the head had a little bit of a button you could push, and it would suction cup in there. But if you look carefully, and again, the light, I'm trying to do a different lighting system here. Doesn't seem to be working very well. I'll fix that in the future, folks. You got the teeth around the back there, but he is just a big leech. And we've got the shadow, what were these called? The Horde Wraiths. You're going to get 3 of those. These are elite minions. Very cool. I feel like these are more detailed than the actual Shadow Weaver herself, but you know, they're cool. You get 3 of those, and then you get 8 of the Horde Troopers, which are these robot type dudes. I always thought these were really, really cool. These are just minions. They're going to look really cool, especially if you use them in conjunction, because minions are minions, right? They have 1 armor, 1 health. These ones self-destruct. So if you remember the old one, from the box set, the core set, the hoverbots had the ability to, if they rolled a Castle Grayskull on the die, they could re-roll another die. And these ones have self-destruct. When they're reduced to 0 hit points, on a ranged hit, every adjacent enemy suffers a wound, so they blow up. And there's 2 different styles of these, so you get 4 of each, kind of pointing in separate directions. If I can get the camera to focus, it's trying to focus on everything but what it needs to. There we go. So that is the Horde, the Evil Horde, excuse me, box set for Masters of the Universe, the board game. I do have on the way, should be here beginning of next week, the Box of Power, which was a Kickstarter exclusive. I was able to get my hands on a copy, and it has a literal butt ton of extra heroes and villains and terrain pieces and minions, and I can't wait to show that one off to you. That one will be a little bit of a longer video, but hope you're enjoying these. I'm falling in love with this game. It is so much fun, and it has really tickled my nostalgic bone for all things that are sort of 80s cartoon related. So until next time, my friends, stay safe, and as always, game on.